Welcome, my friends. Welcome to Village Well. Welcome to the Equinox of 2020. Welcome to this wild ride of life. I'm so excited that you found your way to this Equinox Equilibrium event on March 21st and March 22nd. You can come to both sessions or just come for one, but we will hold space to unpack 8 points to living a peaceful existence during times of extreme chaos. Finding your inner calm while the outside is as hectic as ever. We will meet together at 2:30 on Sunday, March 21st and 22nd at 2:30 Mountain Time. And I want you to be prepared in your physical body and understanding that we're going to be unpacking some ideas, 8 points to peace and radial living. And when you combine these two actions of deeply living in the center and expanding your world in all directions, you can embody a peaceful existence and be the change that we need to see in this time on this planet in our humanity. So I want you to just get ready for your body, okay? So we'll do some movement, we'll do some meditation on Saturday, but I want to just introduce you a couple of concepts that are going to really help you to kickstart and accelerate your learning for when we join together this weekend. So the first bit is starting to look at your spinal column in a completely different way that helps you to build an intimate relationship with each individual part of your spine, from the hips to the low back, to the ribs, to the neck, and to the head, but also to all our individual vertebrae and how we can actually bring more fluid snake-like movement. There's no perfect time for snake-like movement as if you're coming out of an old skin when we are rebirthing into the new season of all that is. So I want you to stand up. Just shake out your body a little bit. Try to get as much movement along these 5 areas of your body and all of the vertebrae of your spine. You can make circles, figure eights, just do a little hula dance, but try to get your hips to move separate, your belly to move a little bit side to side. You can curl it in and lengthen it, shift it. You can move the ribs in big figure 8 circles. You can open them wide on the front. You can open them big on the back and really open them side to side. You can even start to move your neck in all directions. There's really no wrong way to move your neck. Just getting it to find freedom and to find fluidity is going to bring you a lot more circulatory support throughout your whole structure. And then, of course, the head, allowing it to tip back, forward, lean to the sides, big neck rolls. So basic movement, right? Nothing so exciting that you've never heard of it before. But I want us to take a little bit of an extra look at how when we start to work with all of the spinal vertebrae as individual discs that work and actually articulate independently, we open up a pathway of experiencing sensation, of finding mobility and agility along our entire body. But we also start to open up this wide open channel. You may have heard it called the Sushumna Nadi in the yoga tradition. You may have heard it as a central channel or as a vertical axis of energy centers. Surely you've heard of the word chakra or energy wheel. This vertical column holds 7 different spaces that each carry a vibrational frequency that they're emitting out to the world every single day, moment by moment, whether we're present with our body or not. So when we start to articulate all of the vertebrae in the spine, we build so much sensitivity to these different energy centers of the body that we can actually start to create more control. Now, a lot of us have seen the 2-dimensional pictures of the chakras with the flowers and the lotus blooms and the sacred geometry and the red, orange, yellow, up through the rainbow spectrum. But here's another way of looking at these chakras. Because we're not 2-dimensional beings, we don't live on a page of a book. We are 3-dimensional. So when these energy centers are, whatever they are aligning with, vibrating positivity or sluggishness, they're vibrating in 360 degrees. So that every single one of us has this auric magnetic field around us that is taking in the energy and then emitting it out to the world of whatever is going on this vertical column. So I want to give you a little exercise to do. In fact, I'll give you two today, where we focus on articulating the vertebra of the spine and giving yourself the space to really know, first of all, where is your body kind of stuck? Where are you rigid and static along this vertical column? And also, where are you nice and flexible? Where do you have a lot of mobility? And in some instances, where are you hypermobile? We want to bring balance to both, where we wake up the dormant parts and we pacify a little bit of those places that are super overworking. I like to call them the martyrs of the body. And everybody has different places, but the usual culprits are the neck and shoulders and the low back, right? And there's lots of other places where things can show stress and inflammation and really just overuse. But for now, when we start to just focus on the vertical core of the body, it's amazing how we can actually bring healthy circulatory response through the rest of our structure. Okay, so the first exercise I want you to practice, and you can do this sitting down, I'll show you first standing, but this is good for every level of body, right? And if you can't lift your arms up over your head, you're not exempt, you can still get the benefit of this, but you're gonna get more power for more bang for your buck if you can actually bring your fingers to create a little resistance on the back of your skull. So when you stand up, step your feet nice and wide. All we're gonna do is round our spine down and round it back up as slowly and as mindfully as possible. Now, here's what I don't wanna see, which is likely what will happen quite quickly, is the arms just kind of hang, and instead of rounding the vertebra one at a time, we slump, we drop our head, and we touch the floor. Right now, in some instances, I have a pretty rounded spine, to be sure, but I moved them as sort of a block, as one unit, excuse me. And I want to be able to move my spinal vertebra independently. So I need to take more time in my transition, and I want to show you how to create a little bit more awareness of the front and the back body in relationship to each other. What tends to happen, as I said, is a sort of slouch and a fold, and we don't actually build an intimacy of moving the front body into the back body. So when you bring your hands behind your head, I like to point the elbows straight forward so that as I start to go slowly down, chin to chest, my upper back can get really broad. And I'm just going to start to go slowly down my chain, really focusing on the front of my body moving against the back of my body as I transition. I like to pause on an inhale and curl down a little bit on an exhale. Inhale, inflate, get big. Exhale, let the front body move against the back body, curling all the way down, lifting the vertebra away from the legs, lifting as you slowly fall to the earth, and then allow yourself to simply hang. Now, at first, it might not go smoothly or as articulating as you'd like, but when you practice coming up and down multiple times, chin stays last as you come up. We move on an in-breath. This time we pause on an out-breath. Lift the lowest vertebra, the lowest ribs on an inhale, we move. Exhale, we breathe out, we stay. And then we keep the chin into the chest, rising up slowly, trying to get each individual vertebra to move and open up like a string of pearls. And then once you come up and open your body again, nice and expanding posture, take a little side bending to the left and to the right. Now, of course, you can do that very easily sitting in a chair where you simply sit your feet wide. You can, again, keep your hands behind your head and curl yourself down slowly, pausing on the out-breath. On the in-breath, exhaling down. And then inhaling, we move. Exhale, we breathe. Inhaling, we move. Exhale, we're still. Right? And so if you're at work or if you find yourself sitting a lot these days, then this is a great opportunity to just take a pause and then start to get some movement from the core of your body. You can do this all day long. Move your arms, do jumping jacks, and lift a bunch of weights. But if you never get the core of the body to move, how much are you really getting good benefit for the vital organs? They live inside the container of the body, and we want to give them the space they need to do the work that they're meant to do, so that they can pulse, so that they can digest, so they can process, they can absorb, they can eliminate, they can honor the healthy functions that the body has naturally when we hold space. Now, why on a subtle energy level? Beyond just good, healthy spinal alignment and pain-free joints, why is it important to have a strong vertical column? To know that you're connected to earth and sky. To know that you, at the core of both of those, right in the center, is your unique divine expression. Well, what I believe is that there's so much coming at us, and not just from the forward, from the future, from what's about to come, but we're still holding on to the baggage of all of our decades of life. And when we have this information constantly coming at us, it's rather challenging to get quiet and to be able to penetrate through that noise to get into your center. But when you know how to go into meditation with posture that's going to support stillness in your mind and body, then you're absolutely going to be able to tap into the sensitivities of listening to the true voice, to the true wisdom that downloads from sky, that rises up from earth, and merges into the beautiful expression of your heart. So we have to have this pathway clear. And it's not just straightening the spinal curves and holding rigid power, rigid strength. Instead, my friends, we're absolutely building power versus force. We're using the inner alignment to create more agility and more freedom. And when we have this channel clear and open, we're going to be gathering information that aligns with a vibration of wholeness, of high vibes, a frequency that attracts to us only exactly what we are intending. Good energy, healthy and a happy life, and is experienced day by day, moment to moment, of being fully present in this incredible body. So I promise you 2 exercises. So I would encourage you to try this a few times, like 5 or 10 the first time. And as you go up and you go down, play with your breath, play with expanding, play with moving into those shadowy corners and crevices of the body that would rather stay asleep and undiscovered. We're about to bring all of our awareness to those places so that all parts are loved equally. All right, so one more. If you're spending a lot of time sitting and you feel like you want to really take some time to get super long, but maybe you're having back pain or you don't want to stand up, you just want to be on the floor and practice, this is actually one of my absolute favorite exercises, and it is a little bit heat building. So I'll give you a little bit of sequence, but the same intention is to go through the vertebra of the spine. Before we do that, now the same exercise that I showed you already can be done to attend to one side of the spine at a time. So same action, hands behind the head, only you take a little twist in your torso before you go down. Chin down, breathe in, roll down slowly, breathe out. Pause, breathe in, and roll down slowly. And when you get all the way down, you can kind of let it go. But the idea is that you're lengthening and focusing all of that extension on one side of the spine at a time, and then keeping that as you come all the way up through center and repeat to the other side. Take your time. So that's going to be helpful because you can always address each side of the spine independently. And because every one of us has a little bit of asymmetry, you maybe have heard it called scoliosis, or imbalance front and back, left and right, even torsions twisted through the spine. We can all start to untangle those little by little and bit by bit when we learn how to get more mobility at the core of the body. So, coming through a deep squat, I'm going to bring myself into a down dog crouching cat position. So my chest, instead of dropping down, is moving forward and my knees are bent. That allows me to give a little more dynamic pulse and movement, so I'm not just collapsing and dropping into a passive stretch. I'm very engaged. All right, so we come to the left side of the body first. Means we tip the head to the right. We move the hips to the right, and the left side opens like a rainbow. We keep the ear at the right side connected to the right bicep as the hips go way back to the floor. And then you can spring right back up. And do the other side. We twist to the right as the left ear drops, the knees go to the right, and the right side opens like a rainbow. And you keep the ear to the bicep, lifting the ribs up as the hips touch down. Now that's it. You can do this 10, 20, 30, 40 times and build a lot of heat throughout the body. And it's going to give you a lot of freedom and mobility along your central channel and along each individual vertebra. There's lots more that we'll discover, but I just want you to really feel that relationship over the next day or two. And when we come together on Saturday or Sunday or both, and we join in meditation, we join in this understanding that we are in a new phase. And you'll have a little baseline ready to accelerate your learning curve, because we're keeping our curves. We're not rounding off our edges anymore. We're claiming the dynamism and the pulse that exists inside each and every one of us. And therefore, we're expanding in a radial way, 360 degrees in all directions, so that we can meet the world that is coming at us and changing so quickly with all of our resources that we were given, all our talents and all of our gifts that we were born to share. Thank you so much for your time, for your curiosity, and for your courage. I'll see you again soon. Have an amazing day. Namaste.